This is an NE555 DIY set. Although the listing on AliExpress that I purchased actually described this as an electronic organ or an electronic piano DIY soldering kit. After discounts, this kit cost me just £1.04, and I thought it'd be a fun little project to assemble on the channel. So let's take a look inside and see what you get. Okay, so here's the main PCB, and it's quite long and thin, with spaces for all of the key switches that will play the various notes that are marked underneath. In this case, the 555 timer provides the oscillator to provide the sound. Now for the sound, of course, we have a small speaker here. This is an 8 ohm half watt, and the terminals are marked, and we have some wire with which to connect that. Here are our collection of switches. Nice and clicky and nice and large, and they actually do include some caps here that we can put on top as well to make the buttons easier to press. We have our 555 timer chip just here, and it's been put into some foam. Not sure this is anti-static, but I'm sure it will be fine. It's nice that we get a socket for the IC as well, but as you can see here, the legs will need a little straightening to get them in. Shame they didn't pop that in the foam here as well. We have a terminal block here. This is going to be used to provide the power, as we can see on the board here. We have an electrolytic capacitor, and this one looks to be 4.7 microfarads at 50 volts. I'm sure we won't be using it anywhere near that maximum rating. We seem to have a collection of 3 104 capacitors, so those are just here. And we have some resistors that we will be checking when we install them into the board, as well as a few more values just here as well. So with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and turn the soldering iron on and get started. So first up, I'm going to go ahead and install those resistors here. And so we have quite a few 2K resistors to put in, and I'm guessing that's going to be these resistors here. So if we take a look here, we can see we have 200 with a brown band, so that's red, black, black, brown for 200 and one additional 0, or 2000, with a brown tolerance band. Of course, we can double check our calculation using a multimeter. So here I'm going to go ahead and set this to the 20k range, just because 2000 will be right at the limit. And then we're going to put a single resistor just across the probes here. And there we go, we have 1.92. Okay, next up we have a 1K and a 0K resistor. Okay, so we do appear to be provided with the 1K resistors just here, of course, brown, black, black, brown for 100 with one additional 0, or 1000. And I have 2 of those just here. And we actually do indeed have 0 ohm resistors, which are quite a novelty as well. You can see here, these are blue bodied with a single black mark through them, which indicates they don't have any value whatsoever. And actually we have 2 of those provided as well. So that's quite a nice novelty for this kit. As usual, we can double check multimeter. This time I'm going down to the 2000 range because that's more than enough for the 1000 resistor. There we go, we were having a little bit of trouble there. It wasn't reading properly. Might be a bit of a problem with my switch here. But as you can see, this one is around 1000, so 975, 978. And we can check the other one as well. And this one's reading a little bit lower. And of course, we can check our 0 ohms as well. There you go. These are showing some resistance value, but very low. And again, for this one as well, very low. Now, I think this 0 ohm resistor here is quite curious because if you look on the back of the board, it looks like they could have gone ahead and just actually provided a trace here. So it seems a bit of an odd decision there to actually provide a 0 ohm resistor position. But that is indeed what they have chosen to do in this case. So there you go. Okay, let's put in our ceramic capacitors next. As I mentioned, they're all 104 values, so they just all go in these three positions here. Okay, next I think I'm going to do this socket, so just straightening out these pins a little bit. Hopefully we'll be able to get them through the holes. Now with the socket there is a little notch out of one side, as you can see just here. And that notch needs to align with the notch in the silk screen, which in this case is facing towards this side of the board, down here, away from those capacitors. So let's just try and wiggle that in. That went in reasonably well. And then I'm going to add a little bit of this blue tack here just to hold it on the side while we do the actual soldering. Okay, and next I think I'm actually going to do all of the switches that belong along here. So we can see these only fit in one way, as in up, down here. Can't put them this way because the holes would not fit. It doesn't matter which way around they go otherwise though. So let's just pop these in. So next I'm going to do this capacitor. As we've already seen, it's a 4.7 microfarad capacitor. Now, as you can clearly see on the can here, the shorter leg is marked with the negative side of the can. And we can see on the board here that that will be the shaded side just here. So negative, shorter lead into that shaded area. Next, let's pop in our terminal block. And this just goes in here. We want to make sure that the terminals point outwards so we can actually get some wires into there. And then the last connection is the speaker connection, which we can do with just this here. So we have the speaker, and actually this one does actually have some terminals marked. So this one on the left is positive and on the right is negative. And so I'm going to make sure I put the wires the correct way around here. So that's red on the left and black on the right. And then we can connect up our speaker here. Now, technically, this will work both ways around, but again, we might as well put the negative to the negative terminal. So we have the ground here, nearest the edge of the board, so this one here. And we can see it loops down again to the bottom terminal. So we may as well make sure the black goes through the bottom there as well. So next up, we want to put in our IC here. This is the 555 timer, so we can pop this out of here. And I usually gently rock these kind of chips on the flat surface here just to make sure the legs are a little bit more square than they come when they are first out of the packet. And that will make it just a little bit easier to get into the socket. And as we saw, there is a notch on the IC as well. Maybe it's a little hard to see on the camera, but there is a small indentation just here. And that, of course, has to line up with the notch out of the socket and on the silk screen. So let's pop that in. There we go, gently inserted. And then, of course, we have our keycaps as well that can go on here. So let's pop all of these on as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and see if we can power this up and see if it works. Now, no instructions with this, no voltage marking on the PCB either. The NE555 timer usually works from about 5 volts, so that's what we will start with. Now, there are screw terminals here to put some wires into, so that's what I'm going to do. So for now, I'm going to use these existing wires here, just some short lengths, some jumper wires. And I've got my adjustable power supply just here. So let's pop this in like so. And before we connect the positive, let's just pop this to about 5 volts. That will do nicely. So let's press the key and see what happens. Wow, so those seem particularly high pitched. I really can't hear the tones that are coming out of these last two buttons here. Yeah, these two at the end here are really not producing anything that I can actually hear. But nonetheless, it does seem to work. So what I'm going to do now is just press through all of the buttons here, and you'll have to tell me which one is the last you can actually hear. Do, re, mi, fa, so, la, and it says C, where I'd usually say T, and do. That's do, re, mi, fa, so, la, si, and do. No luck for those last two for me, but do let me know in the comments if you're able to hear it. Even with the rather high-pitched tones here that I can't actually use, I think this has been a nice little kit to assemble. Interesting that we got to use a 0 ohm resistor. So I hope you've found this video about the electronic organ DIY soldering kit interesting, and I hope to speak to you again soon in the next video.